So we are here with the manager and Mishad's partner, Sara Bakuman. That's what we call when we love her, the Bakman and the Bakwoman. So hi Sara, welcome to Kandy Times. Yes. So from when do you know this band, Sara?
Interesting question. Well, so I actually went to school in the neighborhood.
Okay.
Right. And this is when Mishad and them had just started their band.
Right.
So in 2001, so I was doing my A-levels and I was part of the Interact Club. And then there was this talent show. We would see them like in the neighborhood, right? Like we would like wait for the school bus and like we would see Mirshad and like the rest of the band, and then they had a bunch of friends who would like walk up and down. Because they used to hang out at Allianz, right? Allianz Francaise, now it's KFC.
Yes.
Yeah, and then at one of the talent shows, they were the guest act.
Okay.
Right? So then they introduced, okay, this is Paranoid Earthling, and like, we were like, this guy is playing a band, right? And then that was, I think, even for a talent show, that was like the first time, like a band, like they came like and played like guitars, amps, like, you know, distortion, all that. And for us, it was a new experience because, like, if you would remember, talent shows were like you would have a backing track, you would sing, right? Or like somebody would play the keyboards, or like just like a box guitar, But this was like, you were like, wow, right? And I think from 2001, I was following their music, right? So I was first a fan. Right, of Mirshad and like Paranoid Earthling, and really loved their music, right? And if you heard like the first EP, like Rock and Roll Is My Anarchy, all 3 songs were to do with like, you know, the teenage angst and you know, like what you go through, like those internal battles that you go through as a young person who's coming from like this conservative like city of Kandy, right? So for us, like, I don't know, for me at least, growing up with the music meant a lot, right? And like later in life, of course, I met Mirshad, and like, you know, that's a different story altogether. But yeah, supporting the band started from the time the band started, I would say, right? You know, as a fan. But yeah, so when and then Mirshad and I, we started going out in 2009. And at that time also, they had kind of taken a break from doing music because the band had started working, and you know, and like he said, the whole transition of Rock Company, them not getting you know, enough sponsorships, and that stopped. I think it stopped in 2006, 2007, that time, and then the bands had to find their own way. Right. So then they had taken a break, and then again in 2009, when I met him, there was a show here in Kandy. So this was organized by the by the bands here in Kandy, like the young ones. They came and played in that show. That was at Paivas. Right. Yeah. So from that time onwards, I was basically like assisting Mirshad, you know, carry his gear around, like, you know, help him, and even. Then they had a manager called Ruanti. So with her, the band went to India like 3 times. They went to Afghanistan. Like she did a great job. She was like a really great manager, and I think for Sri Lanka, she was like the first like female manager for like a rock act. Right. So she did a great job. And I think this is something that people don't talk much about. Like managing bands are not that easy. Right? Because you are responsible of like 4 artists, right? You have to make sure that everything is provided for to make their like performance comfortable, at least, right? So there were like a lot of managers after she left, because she with her like career and all, then she had to like move out. And yeah, and in 2022, Mirshad was like, can you take up the role? And I was like, reluctantly, I was like, okay, because you can't I can't say no to him. But then I also said, like, it's gonna be tough because I don't know. I mean, I do help you out, but you know, being a manager of a band is a completely different responsibility, right?
Yeah.
It's like looking after an army of people. But yeah, from then onwards, so we had to plan the album launch, right? So it hasn't been easy. Even this Tata Kai tour is like the first assignment for me of taking the band out and, like, you know, sorting out their logistics. So yeah,
that has been
excited, scared, all of that at once. But yeah, I'm actually proud of him because, like, he has faced a lot of challenges. Like, doing what he does for like 24 years is not easy, right? And like, lineup changes are also not easy, like, especially for musicians, because you have to again get used to the people who are like coming on board. Then you have to show the songs and then try and see, like, okay, does this work? But right now the lineup, they're like super dedicated. So Kavisha, our drummer, he comes from like, is almost like bordering Kurunegala. So he comes for practices every week. So he comes, practices, and then our session musician Tony Jayatilaka, so he had to leave the country. So we had to, like, we were like, oh, like, we have a tour, like, we need to find a guitarist. And Kavin just dropped in at a practice, and then we asked Kavin, can you join on the tour? And then he agreed, and so here he is. And yeah, the past whole week the band has been here practicing for the tour. Yeah, so that's that. And this tour means a lot. I think one thing is for us to be able to find 2 other bands in India who also have a messaging, who also has a cause. Like, why do we do music? Like, you can't just say, like, for the fun of it, you know. You can't say that, or just for traction, or like just because it's trendy, right? At least these bands have, like, they cover 3 different areas. So Paranoid Earthling has always been about, like, you know, the social struggle here in Sri Lanka. Like, but I suppose when you kind of put the same, like, what our thought process is, and try to put it into another country, in another situation, it is also the same, right? Because there is someone who is struggling, who can't be the voice, right? And the music speaks to them. The music says, okay, like, you know, you have the right to be a human being, like, you know.
So you're actually giving a voice to the voiceless.
Yes. So Paranoid Earthling, if you take Paranoid Earthling, it's very political. Everybody says it's very political, like, but we are non-aligning. That's one thing we need to say. A lot of people ask that. They're like, oh, like, are you a political band? You know, do you work with politicians? But we don't. So it's more to do with socio-political issues. Like, so although the economic collapse hadn't happened at the time, it was more about with the war or post-war, right? Like, I think we are still going through the post-war, like, trauma, and, like, you know, trying to get out of it. And the smallest crisis, you go back to that place, right? Because there's, like, roadblocks, start checking you again, and then you go back to that moment. You're like, oh, like, so I can't move freely. Like, although this is a democratic country, like, I can't move freely, right? So yeah. And Nemophilis, they are more focused on mental health. That's also to do with the band drawing a lot of inspiration from this band called Linkin Park. So they also play as a tribute band, Linkin Park tribute band. So for them, it's all about focusing on mental health. That is one area that they work on, but I'm sure their music also speaks about a lot of other areas. And then Rain in Sahara, they go as eco-conscious metal. So they are more of like an activist band. They talk about climate change and what you can do as on ground. So they work with grassroots level communities and like, you know, youth fronts. And they are based in Assam. So Nemophil is in Pune. So if you take Rain in Sahara, they are in Assam, like all the way like northeast.
East.
So bordering China, Bhutan. And I think that area has like, there's lots going on.
Yes, yes.
And
it has
a lot of
tribes as well.
Yeah,
yes,
tribes. So yeah, to do music and to be able to like take the voice of the people out there, it says a lot. And I'm really glad that we're part of this whole movement. It's something that we are just starting. Yeah, and hopefully if this goes well and if we have partners who come on board, we will be able to take it to other parts of the world.
Yes. So Sara, I just wanted to ask you, like from a fan to a manager, but that is not your career. Yes, you're a journalist.
Yeah.
Yes, and
I don't practice it at the moment. Yeah.
So, and you are a very good journalist at that, and
thank you.
who has gone on to write about a lot of social causes.
Yeah.
So, how has one question is, how has it been able for you to balance your work and this band, as well as has your career helped to support the band as well in their cause?
Okay, if you take journalism and music, it goes two ways. I mean, it looks like it can go hand in hand, but when it comes to work, it pulls you in two directions. One thing is it is difficult if you are being an investigative journalist and then your partner is also making music that is like that can kind of cause a riot, right? So what Mirshad does hasn't affected my work at all, but I feel there have been moments my work has put his life in not danger but some of a questionable place, because if I do something, if I start doing some investigative thing and the people who are involved, say the questionable party happens to know him, they kind of call him and ask like, oh, by the way, do you know what Sara is writing about? So like the thing is, I never come and discuss work with him because he has nothing to do with it, right? Yeah, and I think especially here it's and anywhere in the world it's difficult. Like if you are a journalist, like I think you're putting your family in danger if you are like, you know, investigating things. So yeah, my work has affected his work, and I've always thought about it, like, you know, but he even Mirshad has been super supportive. He has never stopped me from like going further. But these 3 years I decided, okay, no, I mean, while I was doing my journalism work, like I need to like also like support him, because right now his message, like the band, where it is going is the bigger picture, is the bigger cause, you know, like end of the day we're part of a greater picture, and we need to either step out of it or step in and like play our part.
Yes.
So
that has been, you know, very insightful for you to have the balance and maybe take a decision at a moment where you decide whose career means more important and, you know, support each other. How has it been as a partner? You know, I don't now you yourself said that the band has been practicing for a week, and so you have all the band members all the time, and you know, this is an age and time where a woman wants to go on dates, have flowers, get more attention, and things like that. And so Mish, even when we met you all said that you have been practicing all the time in the nights as well. So it's crowded. Yes. So, and there's all saying, right, 2 is company, 3 is a crowd, but now here it's a big crowd, like an army, you said. So how has it been as a partner for you to have that balance, or how was your understanding like, or what made you go through all that?
Mirshad, whether he does music or not, he tends to attract crowds, right? So even when he goes on the road, I feel like, especially when he comes to Kandy, people pass like his gate, and if they're going to church, they're like, Mirshad, you're at home. Like they just walk in. Like they won't even ask like, oh, but are you all busy or anything? But I mean, he has that very like, what do you call it?
He attracts a crowd.
Attracts people. So he's always surrounded by people. Like even when we were in Colombo, it was the same. Then there were like a lot of bands would come and hang out. Like all our friends, they perform in bands. So it's part of the lifestyle. I think you have to live it. So yeah, one of our friends also said like, one thing Mirshad does is he lives the rock and roll life, which not everyone can like, get in, and to be him, he needs to have that environment. I can't tell him like, hey, look here, like, no, you can't do this. Like, you can't have people over because I'm in a bad mood. Don't have people over. I can't say that, and I won't say that also. So that understanding is there. And sometimes the two of us, we do need downtime, right? Like, so there are times where we just, stop socializing, just stay at home, watch movies. We do that. But when it comes to work, we just work. We're workaholics, I would say, right? Until the task is done, we will go at it. So that's what we do. And having people around also helps, because otherwise it's just the two of us, right? That's too much to bear. So for instance, having Kavisha, having Kavin, having Riyal, like our bassist, and then we also have crew. Even in the India tour, we are taking a visual artist called Nuan Shilpa. He is a great artist. He's a friend. He's a great artist. So he started with fine art. Then he got onto digital art, and now he's an artist who is creating work, and he has put it up on the NFT space, like the Web3 space. And so he has come on board as the visual artist, and he's traveling with us as well to India. So one great thing is all our friends are creatives. And every time Mirshad does something, all of them, they come together. So that is the crew, right? Any moment Mirshad says like, hey, we are doing a gig, they're all there like for us. And then we have another friend called Chasit. So he's a young kid, does good, is like a content creator. He does a lot of things. So we just told this time, okay, you come on board as the content creator. So he will be like, posting stories and stuff, because we can't all do everything at the same time. So we always need people around us. It's how we function, right? Some days you're like, oh, it's too quiet. Like maybe we should ask some of our friends to come over, or we go to their house. Like some days it's too quiet, like you need to do something. Like, you need
so I guess you have a lot of people around you, and the success of a person is, they say, is with the people around them. So that clearly shows with all the people who have been creative and supportive. So that means a lot to you all as well. And you and Mirshad being supportive to each other and understanding each other, that has also helped to go through this journey. So any last thoughts, Sara, on to the people, anything that you would like to say?
Okay, so this whole tour, so this is like the first leg of the tour, and like I said, if we have more partners on board, we would like the three bands would love to take it to other parts of the world. So let's see. Like I really hope and pray, like these 4 gigs that we are doing. That is like the first one. We are going to Bangalore, and we are performing at a place called Ignite. So that's a club that's based at White Lotus Super Club. And then that is on the 1st of June, right? And then on the 8th of June, we are going to Hyderabad, and that there we are playing at a club called EXT by the Moonshine Project. So that's us. And after that, we are heading to Pune. That's on the 11th of June. That's at a place called the High Spirits Cafe. And then we go to Mumbai on the 12th. So 11th of June and then 12th of June in Mumbai. That's at a club called Rule 34.
Okay.
Right? So for these 4, we have actually like basically pulled all our network. Like now we are here in Sri Lanka, but we have like spoken to everyone that we know in India, like gathering all their help, everything. Bangalore we have a lot of friends because Bangalore is like the city which plays a lot of metal music, a lot of metal artists come there, rock bands are also performing. So every week, at least there are like three gigs that are happening. So even when we are going for our tour, like 2 days ahead in Bangalore, there's like a American heavy metal band coming in. So always there's something happening in Bangalore. So Bangalore, we really hope there'll be like a big crowd because they listen to this music. So it is not easy to do music, right? It is like, especially now, it is very difficult for artists to continue to do their art, right? It's expensive to travel. It's expensive to purchase your gear, right? And it's expensive to continue to have like a big crew around you. Sometimes you just have to like rough out. You'll be like, okay, it's just the band that is going, right? And the band always needs someone, like they need a manager or a crew member, because sometimes they just go and like, they get overwhelmed. Like they can't like set up things all by themselves. So for that, we do need a big support system, right? Luckily for us, we have a support system, but it would be nice to have more support, right? Especially when it comes to funds, because it costs a lot for you to be on the road.
Exactly.
Right? Because you're like, and India is not like small like Sri Lanka, right?
Yeah.
So between 2 cities, there will be like 500 kilometers of like distance that you have to cover. And sometimes it doesn't make sense to take internal flights because they are expensive. Sometimes they get delayed, get cancelled, and then you can't get to the show on time.
And carrying all this equipment on road is also a hassle as well.
It is. But we've decided, the 3 bands have decided, okay, we are just gonna do like a road trip, so we get to know each other.
Oh, that's
right?
nice.
So it's going to be a nice experience, I suppose. Like 2 weeks, 4 cities, and I think all of us together, there's like about 20 people. So it's like a small platoon like traveling across. So it'd be nice. I mean, message to our listeners or even people from Kandy is like, there is a lot of talent in Kandy, but they don't pursue their talent beyond a certain point, right? You end up, school talent show, come out of the school, and then like you just kill your hopes and dreams of being an artist or like anything to do with creativity, right? Even to do with cooking. Like if you want to if you love cooking and you want to do a restaurant, but if you don't have the support system and nobody turns up, you open a restaurant and nobody turns up to like come and eat, right? Then what do? Like just like, okay, you know what? This is not working. Yeah. So I'm just telling Kandy, please, we have to move out from being the whole thing of like, okay, like these are the accepted jobs, right? Because we need variety, right? Otherwise, it like will be like one of those like generic cities, like people just go to office, come back home.
It will be a dead city.
It will be a dead city. I mean, we would love to see this city thrive, right? I know there's like a lot of culture and everything, but we also have foreigners who are coming in. Like there's a lot of potential for tourism if you grow, say, music tourism, or even like culinary tourism, or like, say, there's a lot of artists, right?
Yeah.
But there's no gallery in
Kandy.
right? None at all. Like you have just in private spaces, like just art hanging, and then that's about it. And families know, and maybe like a small circle, and that's about it. So
There's exactly like what why we started Kandy Times was also something like that, because there's a lot of talent, there's a lot of potential, but then we are just dying because everybody after 5, 6 they're in their houses, they don't know what is happening. So we need to come out and enjoy. We need to enjoy life. We need to go try new things and hopefully support the talents that are coming out as well. One last thing I wanted to ask you, Sara. So this tour that you're going to India, do you have sponsors, or are you sponsoring it yourselves, or how is it happening?
Yeah. So right now it's completely self-sponsored. Basically, all of us are like pulling all our savings and just putting it. Like Mirshad said, sometimes like we are now treating the band as a business. So this is an investment. So this is an investment where we are heading out of the country to build our network, right? Because I think India has in India every time there's something happening, right? Talent gets discovered, and I've seen a lot of artists, even from the commercial scene. They went and performed in India like 1 or 2 shows, and then they got picked up by a record label, or like film director had seen their talent and said like, hey, why don't you come and do a song? Why don't you come and like act a part of it, right? Like example, Yohani, right?
Yeah.
She got a lot of opportunities after she went to India. So I'm just saying, like, we can create opportunities here in Sri Lanka. It's just that people need to create spaces. Or open up their spaces and allow that to happen.
That's a good message, Sara. I think because I mean, India is also a very cultural, cultural country.
Yeah.
And with all that cultures happening, they have opened up to the world now. And there's a lot of artists, there's music, and when you say metal, and the opportunities coming out for the people. So Sri Lanka, including Kandy especially, should open up to the people as well, so that, our youngsters won't have to migrate or forget about their dreams or kill their dreams, because we see a lot of youth when they go abroad, they shine. Yes, you'll have you'll have headlines saying Sri Lankan background, so and so is winning this or doing this. So why not that be Sri Lankan doing it in Sri Lanka and having that opportunity? So Sara, thank you very much for being part of Kandy Times, and I implore, if there are anybody who want to support this artist, Paranoid Earthling, they are here. They have been fighting this war against this, being there, surviving for 25 years. And they have been taking out a message. They are not just a rock band that just plays music. They're taking out a message, a very important message that is needed in this country through their music. So if there is anybody who wants to support them, please do. You can contact them. Sara, as we said, is manager. And like Sara said, open up, even Mirshad, open up spaces for young talent, the talent that is there. We will share the link and their contact details, so you all can, contact them as well. And hopefully you all have a very strong and brighter future and a big journey ahead. So all the best, Sara. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dirshani. Thank you, Rukshan. And thank you, Kandy Times.
Okay.